IPMNation.com.
Trumpet up, trumpet in, let me begin. I came to win and make America great again. I'm racist, I'm sexist, opponents reject this. They're highly overrated like political correctness. Morons, losers, decency accusers. Oh, I hurt your feelings, women on their periods. I write big checks, yo, cater to rednecks, yo. Deny it when I lie, like my name is Gordon Gagnon. Mexicans, Latinos, wanna see them all go. Deport them all with the help of that Arpaio cop. With a wall that don't stop, like the $1 million loan I got from my pop. The racists get down, the sexists get down. They get off their seats and trump around, Trump around, Trump around, Trump around, Trump up and get down. Trump, 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 everybody, Trump, 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 everybody, Trump, 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 Trump. Watch Muslims like Mandy Patinkin. If they try to step up, I'll give them a spanking. Work to Iran, I'll probably drop bombs. I'll start another war like Iraq and Saddam. And the U.S. Muslims will soon know their place as I type them into a big database. Cause I got whiteness, but you ain't got none. And my Islamophobia is not done. You'll be wowed by my crowds who is loud as a lynch mob. Throw out a Muslim woman wearing a hijab. I got the hate, love to race bait. The bumpkin's choice to be head of state. The racists get down, the sexists get down. They get out the sheets and trump around, Trump around. Trump around, Trump around, Trump up and get down. Trump, 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 everybody, Trump, 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 everybody, Trump, 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 Trump. Chip and coups are a flop, my hair is a mop. I'm a sexist pig, and this pig never stops because I am a woman hater. My daughter, I would date her. Sarah Palin just might be my running mater. And then I would defund Planned Parenthood, stripping women's rights for their own good. It cannot be denied. Climate change is a lie with zero cred. If I'm wrong, we'll all just be dead. I'll never abort ya, but I will deport ya. Oh yeah, I forgot. I would bring back torture. The racists get down, the sexists get down. They get out the sheets and trump around, Trump around, Trump around, Trump around. Trump up and get down. Trump, 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 everybody, Trump, 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 everybody, Trump, 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 Trump. Yo, this is dedicated to the Republican Party that race baited for years and can no longer control your base. Grab your Botox, punks.
Hi, I'm Buck Schwartzford. Come on down to Crazy Buck's Democratic National Committee, where we are massively overstocked on presidential candidates, and we've got deals you can't afford to pass up, like a nationwide $50 minimum wage, free college tuition, Medicare for all, or $1,000 cash to every American every month of the year. We've got so many giveaways, we're practically giving them away.
Howdy, folks. Steve Hightower here, Big Steve's Republican National Committee, and we basically have two options for you. So if you like old white guys, jackpot. Tougher immigration restrictions, we'll get them for you. Crippling trade war, we'll do that too. Big bailout to cover all the losses from the crippling trade war, you can have that. Or you can have the complete opposite of all of those things. It could go either way.
No credit, bad credit, recent violent felony conviction, you can still have it all! Subsidies for green energy, free universal pre-K, paid parental leave. What about 12 new Supreme Court justices?
Taxes, we'll cut them. Regulations, we'll slash them. National debt,
let's circle back to that later.
But if somebody kneels at a football game, we're totally going to stick it to that guy on Twitter. So if you value freedom and equality under the law for all Americans, regardless of race, religion, gender, or sexual orientation, I promise you, we might bomb Mexico. Boom. Or not, it could go the other way too. So
free U.S. Treasury bonds to every newborn child in America. Something about banking in a post office. We're even going to break up Facebook and cap credit card interest rates.
See, one of them used to be libertarian, but he was a Republican before that. And the other actually started as a Democrat and then became a Republican and then joined the Reform Party and then back to a Democrat and then Republican again and then independent. but now I guess he's a Republican? So, you can trust us.
$10 billion in slavery reparations. $9 trillion for climate change stuff. It's all real. And we're going to overturn Citizens United.
Because we have to get money out of politics.
So go down to Route 51, just past the Starbucks. Don't even look at the Starbucks. Just past the Starbucks, then take a hard left.
Just off Highway 88, between the Chick-fil-A and the Exxon. Big Steve's Republican National Committee. Our inventory may be low, but our convictions are even lower.
Crazy Bucks Democratic National Committee. We've got the greatest deals in history, which we are doomed to repeat.
I said, what kind of a man is this?
Sequence starts. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I don't know who that is, and I don't care.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. It's that time again. Matt Connarton Unleashed in the afternoon. We are live on WMNH 95.3 in downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast 97 in Manchester. Streaming worldwide on the internet, the World Wide Web, the information superhighway. So nobody says any of those things anymore, except internet, of course, at WMNHradio.org. When's the last time someone said World Wide Web or information superhighway? I miss those terms, cumbersome as they may be. And, of course, on Facebook via Facebook Live on the Matt Connarton Unleashed Facebook page. Today is, of course, Monday, June 3rd, 2019, and we are live, which means you can call us if you like. 603-250-6007 is the number. 603-250-6007. Of course, you can always interact in the Facebook live chat as well, and we already have a call. My goodness. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's on the line?
This is Easy G.
Oh, Easy G. Hey, I'm prepared this time. I've got your theme music all queued up. Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of doesn't wrestle anymore now. He's kind of very part-time now.
Oh, it doesn't matter, Easy G, because your time is now.
I don't know if he's still planning on getting married to that lady that used to wrestle in WWE.
That lady? Nikki Bella?
There was a big hoopla about that a while back, but they broke up and they got back together.
No, they are broken up. She's got a new boyfriend. He's dating somebody new. Where have you been, Easy G? Where have you been?
I'm laying low this week. So
why are you laying low?
Oh, because I'm trying to get my health in order. I got my feet all wrapped up and
right
in my legs, and I'm trying to lay low for the week. Taking the week off from Dreamland and the radio show. So.
Wow.
Thought I'd give you a quick call and say happy Monday.
Well, happy Monday to you, Easy G. And is there any progress in getting this big joint live remote going at Goldenrod?
No, I haven't heard any news.
Oh, okay. All right, you're still working on it, though, right?
Oh, boy. Yeah, I know. Not allowed to mention that name as part of my boss, Nicole.
Goldenrod?
I mean, Nicole's okay with it, but my other boss, Natalie, doesn't like that.
Oh, wow.
She told me I brought it up one time by mistake. She said, "You want to keep your job here?"
I do need to contact them soon because I just this afternoon I wrote them a jingle and a new slogan for Goldenrod that I think they're really going to like.
Oh,
I just have to go.
I haven't been there since I was like 10 years old.
I just have to go over there and sing it to them. Would you like to hear it, Easy G?
I guess so.
All right, ready? Here it goes. Goldenrod, I really like your food and your ice cream. So much better than Creamland. Ooh.
That's pretty lame.
What do you think? That's a winner.
That's pretty lame.
You're just saying that because you don't.
I think I'm going to have to hang out now.
You just don't want it to go to my head that I'm I'm so great at writing jingles.
Oh boy!
I could write a jingle for you, EZG.
Jenny was in the room. She wouldn't be impressed either.
She is in the room. How dare you?
Oh, she is in the room?
Yes, and she's very impressed. And she thinks it's the greatest thing I've ever done.
Jenny.
EZG says hi, Jenny. So you don't like it, EZG? Maybe you just need to hear it one more time. Goldenrod, I really like your food and your ice cream. So much better than Creamland. Woohoo!
This is awful. I'm gonna have to go now. So.
Oh, I think it's great. I think
you have a great week, and I'll be listening to the show.
Well, thanks.
Gotta save my minutes.
Thank you, EZG. Save your minutes.
All right,
yeah.
bye-bye.
EZG's got to save his minutes. He works at Creamland, but he really wishes he worked at Goldenrod. Oops. All right, there we go. Well, that was EZG, and I'm gonna be. I guess I could just send them a snippet of the show. I need to, obviously, approach Goldenrod, my favorite restaurant ever, with that jingle that I wrote for them. And believe it or not, and this is how benevolent I am, my friends, and how willing I am to share my creative genius and allow them to benefit from it, I will not even charge them. I'm going to give them that for free as sort of a way to thank them for being such a great place to enjoy food and ice cream. And I look forward to doing a live remote there in the future. My understanding is EZG is trying to arrange a giant joint remote with the morning show and this show, and we're all going to go to Goldenrod together and eat and broadcast. And EZG probably won't actually be able to be there with us because he'll be busy at his job at Creamland. But I think it's great that he's, it's like he works at Creamland, but he's helping us with this Goldenrod thing. It's kind of like he's got the spirit of bipartisanship. He's reaching across the aisle, reaching across the Goldenrod. Yeah, I think it's great. All right, so, we have a lot of Facebook Live activity here. Let's see. Let me scroll up here. Oh, I see Jenny in the Facebook Live chat. AJ Davis is in there. Hello, AJ. Tony Petrello joins us. Fred Boenig from the Daily Ripple. Tony Petrello says, LMAO, you have a gift, my friend. Thank you, Tony. And that's, by the way, that's what I'm going to say. When I go over to Goldenrod and I present what I've created for them, I'm going to say, look, this was endorsed by Tony Petrello. He thinks, forgive me if I'm putting words in your mouth, Tony, but, everybody embellishes a little bit. So you said I have a gift, so I might embellish a little bit and say, Tony Petrello says it's the greatest jingle he's ever heard in the history of radio jingles, and that if you don't use this for your business, you are clinically insane. That's a little bit wordy. I probably won't put that many words in your mouth, Tony, when I go and approach Goldenrod. But I'll say something like that. I might paraphrase it a little bit, but let's see. Fred shared a link. I will click that in a moment and see what that is. Hello to Frank Potato in the Facebook Live chat. Of course, Frank, the drummer in the legendary band The Jinxed, the band that Frank and I were in. Fred sent, you know what? I'll play this today. Not right now, obviously, but I do really love this song, Government on Horseback, that Fred put in the Facebook Live chat. So let's see. So I'm very excited about that. You know, it's just nice to be able to share my gift with the world, and just I might even sing it again later. Not right now, but later. I'm trying to put it out into the universe that this should be their new jingle. Let's see. I just received an email, my friends. Oh, this just popped up on my phone. I actually just received an email from, it's from Nicole at Creamland. Oh, EZG must have given her my email address. It says, Dear Matt, just heard your singing. Just heard you on your show. My favorite show, by the way. I love it bigly. Just heard your new jingle for Goldenrod. Can you please also make one for Creamland? Well, Nicole, unfortunately, I can't because I feel like that would almost be cheating in a way. My heart belongs to Goldenrod, you understand. And, I just don't think I can, I don't know if I can do both at once. I mean, maybe eventually someday I might be able to write a little something for you. Maybe I could write something, but you could get someone else to sing it. Maybe we could do something like that. But I just think right now, I think I really need to focus on this Goldenrod jingle. I might even come up with some music for it. Not everyone likes things a cappella, even though clearly I have a golden throat. Look, I don't mean to brag, but I was once approached about getting into opera singing, for example. I mean, that's I say for example because that's not really what I was approached about, but I've been approached to do things that actually have nothing to do with singing. Never mind. But the point is, we'll have to see, Nicole. We'll have to see. But apparently I am suddenly in very high demand for this. So, all right. Very exciting. So, anyway, 603-250-6007 is the number to call. 603-250-6007. And as always, we have a great many things to discuss, but we should get into what I think is the top story of the day, and that is this comes to us from my favorite website and hopefully yours, rightwingwatch.org, because I learned so much from them, and I think you do as well. Lance Wallnow, whom we have featured many times on the show, he's a... what does he call himself? Is he a prophet? Is he a just a really holy dude? What is he? Oh, right-wing evangelist, Lance Wallnow. He does a lot of Facebook Live, and he is claiming, and this could be a very big deal. You MAGA people will really like this. It says here, Lance Wallnow asks God to send angels to protect Trump from impeachment and false prophet media. Now I have a theory about this. This may be the real reason, my friends, that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi does not want to go forward with impeachment, why she is so reticent to do so. Because, and I've discussed this before. It's like, well, it's not really something she can win with, right? I mean, even if the House moves to impeach, yeah, that opens up a lot of additional investigating and access to documents and all this kind of stuff, right? But the Senate will never convict Trump of anything. It's a Republican-controlled Senate. So Nancy Pelosi, and by the way, just to add to that, if it goes to the Senate and, the Senate simply, acquits Trump, or I don't know if that's the correct term when we're talking about an impeachment hearing. Sometimes I'm not sure if I'm using the correct terminology, but, they don't convict him. Does that not only strengthen and embolden Trump if he survives that going into the general election? However, Lance Wallnow may have, this may be the real reason Nancy Pelosi doesn't want to do it, because she knows that Lance Wallnow went ahead and requested some angels to protect Trump from impeachment. And if that's the case, then there's really nothing the Democrats can do. I mean, we all know that Trump is God's favorite president, obviously. Very, very godly man. It says here, right-wing evangelist Lance Wallnow hosted a special broadcast on his Facebook page last night as part of the religious rights effort to make June 2nd, which was yesterday, a national special day of prayer for President Trump. So, and it makes sense that it would be on a Sunday. So I hope you all were aware of that already, because if you missed it, you missed it. In theory, you could pray for him anytime you want to, but apparently yesterday was kind of a big deal day for it, so you may have missed the boat. Wall now used his broadcast to call on God to send angels into the White House to protect Trump from the threat of impeachment and to silence the lies he said are coming from the false prophets in the media. Oh my goodness. Well, that's this is incredible. Well, let's listen, shall we? Perhaps we'll learn something from Lance Wall now. This is from his Facebook video.
We need you to come into an absolute agreement that this man who now has 93% of the media beating on him with negative propaganda 24 hours a day has deep state conspiracies surrounding him. We pray the Lord hears him in the day of trouble, that the Lord meets him, that he drives this president to the place of discovering consolation, comfort, and encouragement from the words of God and from godly counsel that will speak words of refreshing over him and break the siege off of his soul and off of his mind. Lord, send help from the sanctuary. Psalm 20, verse 2. Send angels is what that means. The sanctuary refers to the throne room of heaven. Lord, send angels that will strengthen him out of Zion. Remember when Jesus was in Gethsemane, as he was sweating.
Jesus went to Yosemite? Wait, that doesn't sound right. I might not have heard that correctly. I don't, my hearing is kind of shot from all the years of playing in bands, and then I've got the headphones too loud. When was Jesus in Yosemite? Well, the Mormons might believe that because they say Jesus came to America. I'll back that up a little bit. I might have heard him wrong.
Send angels is what that means. The sanctuary refers to the throne room of heaven. Lord, send angels that will strengthen him out of Zion. Remember when Jesus was in Gethsemane?
Oh, okay. I know what I heard now. I apologize.
Jesus, buddy.
I'm sorry, virtual John Hopwood.
As he was sweating, as perspiration was mingling with blood, an angel appeared to strengthen him. We don't know how these mysteries happen, but there's the angel that is in Washington. There's an angel Michael at war for the sake of Israel. There's the angel Gabriel that confirmed Cyrus in the second year of his reign. We're in the Bible, according to Daniel, we release and agree for angels to move, even now, onto location, onto that property. Lord, we ask you that you would grant, according to your own heart, and fulfill all that you intended, that this won't be stopped. This administration will not be aborted. It will not be blocked. It will not be a stillborn presidency. Even all of this...
well, that's a very colorful imagery, by the way, there. Hey, credit where it's due.
Talk about impeachment. We pray that the wheels will come off of this of the chariots of Pharaoh as they are in pursuit of this president with again false accusations and allegations in the echo chamber of the deceived, causing Americans to be confused and bewildered because of the lies and propaganda that come out of the mouth of the false prophets. And listen to me, the media is the modern day false prophet. Trust me on this. It's not some guy rising up out of a one world church. Right now, that one world church is a secular movement, and it's a false.
The one world church? What is that? I don't know about. This. Is he talking about like some kind of new world order kind of thing? What is a one world church?
False religion, and the media are the mouthpiece of the lies that are destroying the unity of this nation right now.
Wow, there you go. All right, so that is Lance Wall now. I'll go ahead and drop that link into the Facebook live chat for those of you listening and watching on the Facebook who want to peruse that again later. Let's see. Oh, hello to the Honorable Heidi Hamer, who says, good afternoon, Matt. Have a great show. Thank you, Heidi. Ed Murphy is in there. Hello. Hello, Ed. Nice to see you in there. So there you go. Well, I'll tell you what. I think, Trump's clearly got nothing to worry about if that is the case. So I'm going to be a little bit careful with this next story. I might do some self-editing as I read this for the youngins who might be listening with mom and or dad in the car. But I will go ahead and drop a link to this story also in the Facebook live chat. And I shared it out earlier on the Matt Connarton Unleashed Facebook page. So some of you might see this. Our president is traveling. He is overseas. He went to the UK. And this is from Mediaite. And again, I'm going to self-edit as I go with this. But this went up this morning. And yes, there are some very helpful photographs included in this story. UK teen mowed a giant phallus and, quote, climate change is real, unquote, into field near airport where Trump arrived. Now, I have to wonder, the first thing that pops into my mind when I see this, well, a couple of quick observations. The first is this takes the whole concept of crop circles to a whole new level. I mean, we've all seen crop circles, right? And, it's where a dude goes around with I don't know anything about farming. He goes around with the thing that flattens the grass, and he does it in a pattern, and then, people see it and they go, oh my God, look, aliens have been here. An alien ship landed there, and that's what made that circle. And then you come to find out that no, it's just somebody with extreme OCD who decided one night to go around the thing and make the pattern, and I don't know how they figure out this stuff and how they get it done as quickly as they do, but there you go. That's what it really is. Oh, maybe some of them are aliens. Who knows? I'm open to these possibilities, my friends. But so this is like crop circles taken to a whole new level, and I can only imagine how much work. And I have to admire the work, the craftsmanship, the artistry that went into creating these patterns. The other thing that does occur to me is how Trump must have felt upon seeing this from the plane, unless they figured out a way to shield him from it, because we are talking, of course, about a president whom the White House felt that they need to shield him from seeing the USS John McCain recently, right? Because that would be very upsetting and triggering to him. We don't want to upset Daddy. So they had to shield that from him. So I can only imagine how, is Kellyanne Conway sitting there going, oh, Mr. President, do not look out the window. Do not look out the window. What do you mean? And then he looks out the window. I don't do impressions very well. But anyway, so I can only imagine how he felt when he saw that. Then again, he might have laughed. Who knows? Anyway, so, so you've got to see the, if you're driving and whatnot, when you're able to safely, you do need to see this. It says here again, this is from Media. A UK teen honored President Donald Trump's arrival to the country by mowing a massive phallic image and the words "climate change is real" into a field near the Hatfield Heath Airport in Essex. 18-year-old Ollie Nancaro, whose family owns the lawn next to the airfield, also mowed the words "Oi Trump" and a polar bear adjacent to the giant phallus. The teen said that he wrote the message to note that Trump's anti-climate reform policies are not accepted in the UK and to promote his enviro-friendly marketplace, Born Echo. Let's see. Nancaro told the Bishop's Stratford Independent, I guess that's the local newspaper there, quote, "Donald Trump and his denial of climate change are not welcome, and I want him to be fully aware of that when he flies into Stansted on Monday," unquote. You know what? I think his strategy is hilarious, but I can see it backfiring. Because what if Trump started to look at this and then he never actually bothered to read what it said because he just saw the giant phallus and looked away? Because I have to tell you, that's what I would do in that situation. I don't want to look at that. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with that if you do want to look at that. I personally don't want to see that. I don't know if I'd get as far as reading about climate change. I'd be like, whoa, I don't know what's going on down there, but whatever it is, I'm all set. So... Anyway, while Trump has not acknowledged the warm greeting yet, I don't imagine he will. No, actually, he probably will. He won't be able to help himself. He'll at some point before this trip is over, he'll get on Twitter and complain about I don't know how maybe Chuck Schumer paid somebody to do this. Who knows? He'll have to. He can't just. Let me put it this way. He's not one to just kind of ignore things and just let them go. He can't help himself that way. He doesn't have the discipline. Let's see. While Trump has not acknowledged the warm greeting yet, the president did begin quickly attacking one of his UK opponents immediately upon landing in the country this morning. Of course, he tweeted at Sadiq Khan, who's the mayor of London, and he is Muslim, by the way. Sadiq. I actually know someone named Sadiq Khan. That's why I was thinking that. Sadiq Khan, who by all accounts has done a terrible job as mayor of London, has been foolishly nasty to the visiting president of the United States, by far the most important ally of the United Kingdom. He is a stone-cold loser who should focus on crime in London, not me. Khan reminds me very much of our very dumb and incompetent mayor of NYC, de Blasio, who has also done a terrible job, only half his height. Because de Blasio's like, he's like 8.5 feet tall or something. I think he's even taller than Peter White. In any event, I look forward to being a great friend to the United Kingdom and am looking very much forward to my visit landing now. The president is expected to be met by thousands of protesters for an anti-Trump. That already all happened. So we'll get into some of that in a minute. But yeah, that's a fun story. Let's see. Oh, hello to Wayne Noel, who joins us in the Facebook live chat. Let's see. Fred posted from the day. Oh, my question before about the One World Church. I didn't know what that was. That was something Lance Wallnow referred to. So Fred posted this. The One World Church is the great horror, quote unquote. The Scarlet Woman riding on the beast of Revelation 17. This harlot represents this religious system that lies with the world dictator, the Antichrist. This religious system will dominate the world before the return of Jesus Christ. Witchcraft in the church is preparing the way for this religious system. We see this happening right now. My goodness, I have to tell you, my friends, when I was a kid, I was raised Catholic, and I used to have to go to church on Sundays. I found church to be really dull, really boring, and I was always happy when it was over, and I knew I didn't have to go back for another week. Matter of fact, and I've told this little anecdote on the show before, but I remember my friend Billy Zappia, who also had to go to church. I said to him, my childhood friend, I said to him one week, I said, as much as I don't like going when we have to go after we leave, I actually feel really good and really positive. And he said, yeah, dummy, because you're glad it's over for another week. And I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. Now, having said that, about how boring I found church when I was a kid, this One World Church sounds kind of awesome. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It sounds very, very exciting. They got all kinds of things going on there. I mean, like I said, I was raised Catholic. I'd go to church on Sunday, and there was a lot of sort of aerobics going on. You had to sit, you had to kneel, you had to stand, you had to kneel, you had to sit, you had to shake hands with people, you had to go get the wafer and drink the wine. I never drank the wine. I'm very paranoid about hepatitis, and then you sit and you kneel and you stand and you kneel and you sit and you pretend you have to go use the restroom to kill 5 minutes and you come back and you sit, kneel, and stand. Right, so not very exciting, just a lot of moving around, but this One World Church, oh my goodness, it's got the great horror, she's riding a horse, it's got this Antichrist dude who's probably not someone you want to mess with, but at the same time, probably a lot of fun to party with. So I don't know, I'm kind of interested in this One World Church thing. I want to know more. I mean, I don't know if this is something, do you have to go online and join? Is there a membership fee? I mean, how does this work? I don't think we have any. I mean, we have a lot of churches here. Like if you ever look at it, like here in Manchester, if you ever look at an aerial shot of the city, you'll see a lot of steeples. Now, maybe one of those steeples is this One World Church. I mean, I might start going. This is pretty exciting. Oddly enough, New Hampshire, last I knew, I don't know if this statistic is still accurate, but New Hampshire historically has been the least church-going state in the entire country. So in that regard, we seem to be the most secular. But I'll tell you what, if this One World Church thing starts to spread, I think this would be a great way to get people involved, get people excited about church again. It sounds like an action movie, but it's church. This is wild stuff. Let's see. Oh, there's more here. Fred says, And there came one of the 7 angels, which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore, with sitteth upon many waters. Wow, there's even it sounds like you even get to go on a boat with the great whore. I mean, this is great. Let's see, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. Revelation 17:1-2. I got to wow, that sounds fantastic. Let's see. Fred also said, gee, the great whore, Trump is going to be so very at home. Oh, is Trump already like a part of this church? That's exciting. Let's see. And then Fred posted a link to something here. Oh, maybe it's well, whatever that link is to, Fred, it doesn't do anything when I click it. So I don't know what that is. I was hoping maybe it was for the One World Church. I click it and it's a page like their Facebook page, and then I could like the page and then maybe get more information about it later. Fred says, I bet the coach of the Patriots knows where the church is. Oh my goodness. Well, there you go. So that's all very exciting. Thank you, Fred. I'm thinking about I might look into that. And I mean, you probably have to wear black. It sounds like something you would have to, and I have a lot of dark clothing. I could do that. I like that. I mean, I used to play in metal bands, so it sounds like I would fit right in, right? Especially with this whole Antichrist dude. I mean, I used to play in a band called Broken Hell. I mean, we had hell right in our name. I mean, it's perfect. Let's see. We might have to put that band back together and play a show at the One World Church. Oh, that would be a good name for a rock club, wouldn't it? There's probably somebody using it already. Let's see. Fred says the Brits put this up tonight in the Facebook live chat. I don't know what this is, Fred, unless you're about to put a link in there. Like I said, if you're referring to the previous link, that does not open on my browser. So anyway, that's, but be sure to go online if you haven't already and take a look at the, I almost can't believe I'm saying this, but take a look at the phallus. You know what I mean. All right, so let's see. We talked about the angels. We talked about the crop circle. I'm going to take a moment because fair is fair. I'm going to actually defend Trump on something a little bit here, and I'm going to scold the media a little bit. Oh, hello to Bill Muckler, who joins us in the Facebook live chat. Oh, Fred posted another link. Let's see if this one... Nope, that one doesn't work either, Fred. I don't know why these won't open on my browser. I'm in Google Chrome, but... So here's the thing. I'm going to defend Trump on something. And let me preface this by saying, and this is going to be one of those scolding the media moments. Now, if you're a regular listener of the show, you may have noticed that I'm not a huge fan of President Trump. I can be a bit critical of him at times, now and then. I'm not a huge fan. However, I think that it is very, very important in these times in which we live to be a little bit careful about what we go after him on and criticize him for in the media and so forth. Because here's the thing. So people who are very MAGA, they will, well, let me put it this way. They will make the accusation that the media is against Trump, which in and of itself is not how I see it exactly. I think they've got the paradigm a little bit wrong, but it's what works for them. I've never felt that the media is against Trump. I think the media goes to great lengths to be critical of Trump, and fairly, by the way. I think there is much to criticize him for. I myself spend a lot of time criticizing him. Again, I don't know if y'all have noticed. But that's not exactly the same thing as being against him, because it is kind of a symbiotic relationship. Cable news ratings have gone up quite a bit. I mean, obviously not even just on Fox. The the pro-Trump cable news network, of course, but the more liberal media like MSNBC, which obviously spends a lot of time criticizing Trump, their ratings have gone way up. I mean, Rachel Maddow is doing better than she ever has, right? So it's kind of a symbiotic relationship there. So when you say the media is against Trump, I don't think that's exactly what it is. The media is highly critical of Trump. And again, I think most of it is fair. Most of it. Most being the key word, and we'll get to that in a moment. But it is, but they also benefit from Trump, and they benefit from being opposed to him. It's kind of like with this show. I mean, look, if I'm being completely honest and transparent, all cards on the table. And again, I'm an independent, so I can find things to like and dislike about pretty much any politician. With Trump, I find far more to dislike than like. The things that I do come up with and manage to like, he tends not to follow through on, like promises to withdraw from Syria or to draw down in Afghanistan, for example. He did sign criminal justice reform. That's something I give him credit for. I do genuinely try to find things to like about him. For those of you who think I suffer from Trump derangement syndrome and I just want to rip on the guy, I really do try to find things to be supportive on and whatnot. But if I'm really being honest about it in terms of this show, look, I have no problem acknowledging, on the one hand, do I like Trump? No. Do I think he's bad for the country? Yes. But I also know, fully transparent, I also know he's good for my show, because to have such a weird, unique, colorful guy in the White House, to speak somewhat euphemistically, is good for my show. There's always plenty of things to talk about. It's easy to pick on him. There's a million song parodies online that I can play on the show. This show directly benefits from the Trump presidency. I started this as a podcast back in 2011, before I was given the great opportunity and privilege to bring the show here to WMNH. And it was not nearly as exciting back then, I have to tell you. The Obama era was much more stable and not as exciting in a lot of ways. And now it's kind of crazy. So it makes doing a show like this a lot easier and a lot of fun. So I benefit from the Trump presidency, even though I don't think the Trump presidency is very good. And let's be honest, again, the mainstream media benefits from the Trump presidency, even though they spend a lot of time criticizing him. Now, I think that the vast majority of the criticism is perfectly valid. I believe Trump committed obstruction of justice in the Mueller report. There's 9, 10, or 11 examples, depending on whose count you want to use. Geez, I think even Judge Napolitano on Fox went with 11. Right. There's a lot of things. I disagree with in the Trump presidency. The economy's great. I'll acknowledge that. But there's so many things I disagree with. So, and so often too, the media, all they really have to do is play you video of things that he's said or done, or in terms of criticizing him. I mean, he's a very, in my personal opinion, he's a very, very small, very petty, insecure guy. The leader of the free world, calling people losers and lowlifes. And, I know a lot of people like that. A lot of MAGA people, they like that sort of alpha male tough talk, and he doesn't care, and he just says whatever he wants and everything. Some of us want a statesman, who is above it all. The leader of the free world, in theory, the most powerful guy on planet Earth, and he is constantly punching down. And people who are constantly punching down, to me, appear to be very insecure and just very small, petty people. So, you don't have to look far to find things to criticize and this and that. Now, what I'm getting to, though, is every once in a while, because like I said, probably 99% of the negative coverage that this president gets, I think he deserves. But not 100%. Because every once in a while, something comes up and it kind of gets twisted into something that it's not. Or maybe it gets overblown a little bit. And I'm going to talk about an example that's directly related to the trip to the UK in a minute. That's where I'm going with this. And I think it's important to, as much as I think it's important to call out Trump on all the things that he does that are disappointing, I think it's important to call out the media too, because here's the thing. So someone like me, I get very frustrated when on the one hand, you know, I feel like defending the media and saying, no, you know, Trump is wrong and Trump supporters are wrong when they say, oh, the media is just out to tear him down and the media is so against him. And no, I think the coverage is fair and honest. I just think Trump is a disaster, right? But then when the media does something that feeds into the criticism of the media, it makes it that much harder for me to defend them. It's a very similar concept to, you know, I get really upset when someone is accused of being racist because they say something that somebody else takes the wrong way and then accuses that person of being racist, and then all the social justice warriors and the PC police, you know, they all come out and they'll just ground someone into the dust when in fact, if you look at what that individual said, no, they weren't being racist. These people are just twisting it into something that it's not. And the reason that upsets me when I see that, not only is it terribly unfair to the person who is having their career and their reputation destroyed unfairly, because if you look at the context and exactly what they said and what they clearly meant, they didn't mean what they're accused of saying, right? But also, it makes it that much more difficult to fight against actual real racism, which is still very real, still goes on, and it's important to keep confronting it and fighting it. So when someone is accused of, and I'm thinking about when I say that, I'm thinking specifically about, and I can never remember his damn name, the guy a few years ago from ESPN, the analyst who got fired because during a tennis game that Serena Williams was in, he said something about she was resorting to guerrilla tactics, and he meant a specific type of approach to playing the game that was very aggressive. It didn't have anything to do with race, but everybody on Twitter went nuts and said he had made a racist comment. All these people who don't understand that the word gorilla has more than one spelling. And the reason it has more than one spelling, it has more than one meaning. And, you know, he wasn't calling Serena Williams a gorilla, clearly. And anyone with any common sense and ability to understand the context of what he was saying, yeah, I'm not even a tennis guy. I don't like sports at all, but I get what the guy was saying. And there was clearly no racist intent, but ESPN ended up firing him. He wrote a book about it, and they told him in the meeting they had with him, sorry to let you go. We know what you meant. We understand. You meant nothing racist by it. That is obvious to us, but we're under all this public pressure to fire you. And they fired him. So when people insist on taking things and twisting them or taking them out of context in some way, it makes it that much more difficult to confront actual examples of whatever it is. And when the media takes something that Trump did and tries to make it worse than it actually is, it makes it that much more difficult for someone like me to defend the media against everyone who says, oh, it's that liberal media, they're so biased against Trump and this and that. And it just gives ammunition to those who would defend Trump on everything and think that he's just this angelic figure that actually does nothing wrong. He's just this great guy. So I'm gonna tell you what it is that I'm thinking of specifically. Well, here, first, let me give you a recent example of what I'm talking about, because I want to establish that the example that I'm about to bring up, this very, very recent example, is not entirely isolated. I'm not saying this happens a lot. Trump is so weird and unself-aware, and he blurts out so much bizarre stuff that you don't have to take a lot of things out of context. But I'm just looking at the chat room for a second. So there are other examples. So here's one. Several months ago, maybe it was 6 months ago, I don't know. We live in an era where the time just kind of all blurs together. Trump was accused of saying that immigrants are animals. And not everyone, to their credit, not everyone in the media ran with this, but a lot of people did. Oh, Trump's on camera referring to immigrants as animals. And then you watch the video of it, and he was actually talking about MS-13 gang members. Now, I don't know if calling gang members animals is constructive necessarily, but I don't particularly mind it either. I'm not offended by it personally. You know, I'm okay with that. But the media ran with it as, oh, Trump is calling immigrants animals. Now, if you watch the video, I mean, Trump is the most shockingly inarticulate president of my lifetime. So, I mean, we used to make fun of George W. Bush as not being exactly a great wordsmith, but Trump makes Sarah Palin sound like a Rhodes Scholar. I mean, so, you know, it's almost, Trump almost makes it a little too easy to take his words out of context at times because he is so inarticulate. What did George Will say about him? Because George Will's a conservative, but he's an ever-Trumper. He said something like, he wrote in one of his columns, Trump speaks English like someone who learned it 2 weeks ago from someone who learned it 2 weeks ago. So, yeah, I mean, Trump really just butchers language pretty thoroughly. But fair is fair. If you watch that video, he was talking about MS-13 gang members specifically. He was not calling all immigrants animals. Now, a couple people in the mainstream media did kind of point this out and say, one of them was Jake Tapper on CNN, who I think he at least tweeted something about, hey, everybody, we kind of need to take a step back on this one. I think people are getting this wrong. Trump was not calling immigrants animals. And I think Chuck Todd on MSNBC actually said on air, Trump didn't do anything wrong here. His language was maybe a little harsh, but he was speaking about gang members. He was talking about MS-13. He wasn't talking broadly about immigrants. And everybody needs to kind of, pull back here. So there were a couple of people in the mainstream media that actually said, well, hang on, guys. We're getting a little carried away here. But there should have been more, because there shouldn't have been people leaping to that to begin with. And I said at that time, this is an example of the media taking something and blowing it up to bigger than it actually is. And it makes it that much harder to defend the media when they're getting it right, which I think is actually most of the time they're getting it right. But it makes it that much harder to defend the media when they clearly, because let's be honest, the people who were getting that wrong, I'm sure most of them they knew they were getting it wrong. They're not just a bunch of dummies who can't figure out what Trump meant. They seized on an opportunity. Oh, this is another thing that we can put on the air today. With the 10 other things about Trump that are perfectly legitimate to report on, this gives us an 11th thing, even though we know what he meant. Our audience, they love it when we dump on him, so this gives us another thing to add to another log on the fire for today. Why not? Right? I mean, these people aren't dumb. They know what they're doing when they do that. So here's the thing. And again, you might think, Matt, why is this a big deal? You're making a big deal out of nothing. And you're right in the sense that this isn't a big deal, this example that I'm about to use, but I'm talking about a broader problem here. You got to stick, if you're going to criticize Trump, do it. Right? Hey, that's democracy, by the way. I mean, we all can criticize whoever we want to. Okay? But try to be intellectually honest about it consistently, because every time you fail to do so, you detract from your own argument. So here it is. It's the Meghan Markle thing. It's funny I can't say her name. Meghan Markle, who now I guess is what is she, Princess Meghan or so? I'm not much of an Anglophile. I've never in my life given a flying fudgesicle about the royal family or any of that. It's never been interesting to me. I mean, yeah, when Princess Diana died, I thought, well, that's a bummer, but I just, actually, my memory of that, Princess Diana's death, I was working at a store at the time, at a music store. Because what was that, late 90s? And, we sold that. Well, I can say the name. It's long gone. Strawberries. I was working at the one on Loudon Road in Concord, which closed many, many years ago. And Elton John put out a new version of that song, Norma Jean. Goodbye, Norma Jean. It was Goodbye, English Rose, or maybe it was just called English Rose. But it was with new lyrics written about Princess Diana. And so he got that out immediately, and we sold out of it at the store that I was working at immediately. And it got to a point where we had to put a sign up in the door saying we are sold out of this, because what was happening is so many people, and it was, I'm just being honest, it was middle-aged, sort of soccer mom types were coming into the store looking for this, because apparently they had to have the song because they were so upset that Princess Diana died. And they were so upset that they were becoming enraged when we told them we were sold out. I mean, they were just, their sadness would turn to sheer anger. Like, what do you mean you don't have it? It's like, we sold out. Apparently, every other soccer mom in the entire state is also very distraught and desperately needs this Elton John's rewrite to grieve. That's my memory of Princess Diana's death, is dealing with all these very, very, very angry women who were so furious that we had sold out of Goodbye, English Rose by Elton John, this crappy remake of a song that I never liked to begin with. Anyway, but yeah, I was sad that she died. I mean, that was a bummer, She seemed pretty cool. She seemed like a cool chick. But other than that, I mean, I just don't care about the royal family. I really, I just don't care. But anyway, so Trump. But about Meghan Markle, I do like Meghan Markle because I don't watch a lot of television. I watch very little TV, but one of the few shows that I've been hooked on as an adult is the show Suits on the USA Network. And there might be a new season on Hulu, actually. I should look. But Meghan Markle used to be on Suits. She played a character named Rachel Zane, and I love that show. So I'm actually familiar with, I'm more familiar with Meghan Markle than I am any of the other royal family members. Let's see. But so Trump had said something about her that the media kind of ran with and made it just much worse than it was. So this is from vulture.com. Donald Trump anoints his newest nasty woman, Meghan Markle. So here's what it says. It's been 3 whole years since Donald Trump first took the phrase nasty woman out for a spin to insult his presidential competitor, Hillary Clinton, in the midst of a debate. And it's now been revived for another special gal who got the hell out of America, Meghan Markle, the DGAF Duchess of Sussex. What does DGAF stand for? I don't even know what that stands for. Again, I'm not an Anglophile. I don't know or care, really. In a new interview conducted before his upcoming trip to the United Kingdom, Trump was reminded of a pre-royal chat Markle did on The Nightly Show with Larry Wilmore in 2016. And for those of you who don't remember that show, it was... It replaced the Colbert Report when Colbert went to CBS to do the Late Show. This show, The Nightly Show, now followed The Daily Show on Comedy Central. Larry Wilmore had been a correspondent on The Daily Show, and unfortunately, it didn't catch on. It ended up getting canceled, I think, within a year. Let's see. So she was on that show in 2016, and she called the future president a vocal misogynist and divisive. And how about that? Trump didn't love those comments. So here's what he said to CNN in response. I guess this was right before his trip. When he was asked about what she had said, he said this. This was his exact words. I didn't know that she was nasty. I hope she is okay. I am sure she will go excellently. She will be very good. I hope she does. Now, just to kind of sum this up without going through the rest of the article, what the media did with this is they made the story that Trump says that a member of the royal family is nasty, calling her nasty. In other words, saying that about her. And so they're trying to sort of cast that over his trip to the UK. How could Trump say this about a member of the royal family as he's about to go over there and this and that? The problem is he wasn't calling her nasty. He was saying that her comment was nasty. Now, it is Trump. So what he said is very clumsy and inarticulate because the English language really isn't something he's good at, right? But clearly, when he said, I didn't know that she was nasty, he doesn't mean I didn't know she was a nasty person. He means I didn't know that she was nasty in her comments about me. And saying someone was nasty in something that they did or made a nasty comment, I might sound like I'm splitting hairs here, but that's not the same as saying an individual is nasty. You can do things that are a certain thing, but it doesn't make you that thing. And if someone points out a certain thing that you do, it doesn't mean that they're saying that you are that kind of thing. For example, if I say, oh, yeah, I said something on the show last week that I realized was actually stupid. When I look back on it, am I calling myself stupid? No. I don't think I'm stupid. Some of you might. I don't know. I think I'm a reasonably intelligent guy. I'm no genius, but I think I'm kind of smart, right? I don't think I'm stupid, but I will freely acknowledge I've certainly said stupid things over the course of my life, as we all have. Even the smartest people say dumb things from time to time, right? But I'm not calling myself stupid. So when he says that she said something nasty, he's not calling her nasty. He's not saying, oh, she's just a nasty human being. He's just saying, oh, I didn't know that she had said something nasty about me. But the media took that as he's calling Meghan Markle nasty and she's part of the royal family. Oh, this is going to be awkward. He's going overseas to visit and he's calling out a member of the royal family saying that she's nasty. That's not what he said. Now, again, like I said, his comments are very inarticulate. I'll read this again. This doesn't make sense, but you know what he meant. I didn't know that she was nasty. I hope she is okay. I am sure she will go excellently. She will be very good. I hope she does. So, as is typical, he can't string too many coherent sentences together. I am sure she will go excellently. She will be very good. I hope she does. Yeah, that doesn't really make sense. And who talks that way unless maybe someone who's had a terrible head injury and is really struggling to put words in a coherent order? But we know what he meant. So he's acknowledging that she had made a comment that he thinks is nasty, and then he's saying complimentary things about her and expressing that he hopes that she is okay. So he's actually being nice, even though she made a comment that he thought was nasty. And when the media takes that and runs with it and turns it into something that it's not, it only gives ammunition to those who would say, oh, the media, they're just out to get Trump. They're out to do this. They're out to do that. Well, occasionally they are, unfortunately. Most of the time, I think the criticism of Trump is completely fair, but not 100%. And this is an example of that. All right, we are past the top of the hour. Let me, before we take a break, let me look at what we've got in here. Fred had posted this. The Brits are trolling Trump. Bill Muckler in the Facebook live chat says he was able to open that link that Fred sent, but British activists troll Trump with giant USS John McCain hats and Obama comparisons. Oh boy. Oh, that's fun. All right. What we'll do is we will take a break because we are past the top of the hour, and we will be back. You are listening to Matt Connarton Unleashed. We are live on WMNH 95.3 FM. And don't go away. Plenty more to come.
If you're a new listener, just type in Pentagon tested gay bomb on Iraq. They didn't consider using it. They've used it on our troops. In Vietnam, they'd spray PCP on the troops, Jacob's Ladder. You think PCP, some horse tranquilizer or something? They got stuff that'll whack your brain permanently. Gay bomb. Gay bomb. Brain chips in the troops. They give the troops brain chips in the troops. They give the troops brain chips in the troops. They give the troops special vaccines that are really nanotech that already re-engineer their brains. Gay bomb. Now there it is, the gay bomb. Look it up for yourself. I mean, this is what they're... What do you think tap water is? It's a gay bomb, baby. Gay bomb. And I'm not saying people didn't naturally have homosexual feelings. I'm not even getting into it, quite frankly. I mean, give me a break. You think I am like, shots fired on up your passion because I don't like gay people? I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Turn the friggin' frogs gay. Turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Friggin' frogs gay. I'm sick of being social engineered. It's not funny. Do you understand that? I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. I'm sick of being social engineered. It's not funny. That turn the friggin' frogs gay. Turn the friggin' frogs gay. Turn the friggin' frogs gay. Look it up for yourself. I mean, this is what they're... What do you think tap water is? It's a gay bomb, baby. Gay bomb. Brain chips in the troops. Brain chips in the troops. Serious crap. I'm sick of being social engineered. It's not funny. Look it up for yourself. I mean, this is what they're... What do you think tap water is? It's a gay bomb, baby. Yeah, there it is, the gay bomb.
Look at the size of that guy. Man.
He is a massive guy. This big, powerful guy. This guy is... He is a monster. A giant of a man.
One really large person.
I've seen a lot of people over the years. Big people.
You know, I have a friend, big guy, one of the biggest in the world.
This big, strong friend of mine who weighed like 250 then, which 250 then is big. That's like 310 now, right? This was a long time ago.
It's a lot of big people I'm standing next to. That's some big people behind me.
Boy, they're big. Big guy.
Big guy.
Big guy.
He's your big guy in town, folks.
Big guy. Strong, tough. Strong man, big, tough guy.
This is a big, tough guy.
A very, very powerful guy. Big, strong guy.
Big, strong guy.
Big, strong guy.
This big, strong guy comes to me.
He's big, he's strong. A couple of big, strong guys. Big, strong guys.
Big, strong guys. Big, strong guy here.
Big, strong guys up here. Big, strong, powerful guys. Big, strong, beautiful guys.
Beautiful guys. They're West Virginia, big, strong guys. Nice guy over there. Big, strong guy. I love you, Trump, but I love you. This guy, he's like a monster. He's like this monster football player. A big, strong guy.
You're a big, strong guy. Are you a football player or something? Big, strong, powerful players.
He's a big, strong, powerful champion.
He's a big, strong coal miner.
Massive, wonderful fireman.
A customs officer. Who's a monster.
I just walked in, and a big, strong guy grabbed me.
These guys are massive guys that grab me.
Massive guys. Two really big, because I'm a big guy. And they grabbed me.
All these big, handsome guys, these big, giant guys.
These big guys.
These three big guys.
Look at the size of these guys.
Look at the size of that guy.
Look at the size of these guys. Look at the size of this guy. Look at the size of these guys. They're monsters. Look at the size, how big and strong. That's what we like.
I saw somebody backstage, big, strong, powerful. Big guy backstage.
Come on over here, John. Big guy. Hey, Bob. Come here, Bob. Come here. He's a big guy. He's a big guy. Where are you? Derek. Oh, he's a big guy. Come here, Derek. Big Sam.
Big John.
Big Luther.
Where's Big Jim? He's around here someplace.
Where's my big guy? Where the hell is he?
Where is Eric? You can't miss Eric. He's so big. He's a big man, isn't he? He's a big man. He's a big man. That's a big man.
He is a big man.
He's not only one of the best governors in the United States, he's definitely the largest. He is the largest, most beautiful man. Look at that man. He's all man. Look at him. He's a big man. He's all man. But he is a big man. That is the tallest human being I've ever seen. He is the biggest human being I think I've ever seen. It's a big mic. It's the biggest mic I've ever seen.
The president stepped off the silver screen. He said, people, put your lives here in my hands. We can turn our countries on our way again and let the sulfur smoke of progress fill our land. 'Cause we've got government on horseback again. Back to the days when congressmen were men. We can make it on our own, running on testosterone. It's government on horseback again.
Jesus, buddy.
Help me give our land the golden goose. Turn our native corporations loose. High voltage lines will go the extra mile. Now it's power to the people, nuclear style. And we've got government on horseback again. Back to the days when congressmen were men. We can make it on our own, running on testosterone. Government on horseback again. Lamp beside the golden door. We don't need cheap foreign labor anymore. Without our unions and the ERA, we will all have twice the jobs at half the pay. And we've got government on horseback again. Back to the days when congressmen were men. We can make it on our own, running on testosterone. It's government on horseback again. Back again, back again, back again, back again. We've got government on horseback again. It's back to home for mommies to make friends with all the commies. Government on horseback again.
Welcome back. We are well into hour number 2. Matt Connarton Unleashed. We are live on WMNH 95.3 FM in downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Of course, on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester, streaming at WMNHradio.org, and on Facebook via Facebook Live on the Matt Connarton Unleashed Facebook page. There is some breaking news from Politico. House Democrats to hold Barr and Ross in contempt over census question. There was talk of holding Barr in contempt over a subpoena that he declined to cooperate with. But so this is new. We have been hearing about the census a little bit. You know, there's this question about are you in the country illegally? Should that or should that not be on the census? And, you know, I mean, obviously, if you're a longtime listener of the show, you know that on the on matters of immigration, I tend to be pretty liberal, liberal/libertarian. But I mean, as far as that census question, do we expect people to answer that honestly? I mean, I just don't like who's gonna put that they're not here legally? You know, that seems. I just don't know why you would even do you think, if you're someone who thinks, I'd be curious to hear what you guys think. if you're someone who thinks that question should be on the census, are you expecting to get some sort of accurate read on how many people are in the country legally or illegally? Give me a call, 603-250-6007, or you can opine in the Facebook live chat. But it says here, the House Oversight and Reform Committee is moving to hold Attorney General William Barr and Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross in contempt of Congress for defying the panel's subpoena for information about efforts to add a citizenship question to the 2020 census. Well, listen, I'm not a big fan of William Barr, but as far as Wilbur Ross, I'm going to just defend him a tiny bit. I mean, he probably meant to show up and he just fell asleep. He needed a nap. He's like, the guy's like 112 years old. I mean, what do you want from him? There actually is legit. There's video of, how Trump has these cabinet meetings and they'll put like the beginning of the meeting. I mean, I assume they don't record the whole thing for the public to see, but they'll show you on television, like part of the meeting, like when they go around the room and everybody in the cabinet, everybody sitting around the table says something nice about Trump and how, what a great leader he is and all the progress and this and that and all this. And there was one video I saw, I think it was of a cabinet meeting or it was something, or maybe it was at some public event, but Wilbur Ross was in fact asleep. And it's just, that's a really silly and petty and childish thing for me to even pick on him about. But I still vividly recall this guy going on television and talking about how he thinks that, I mean, this was well over a year ago. This might have been very early in the administration. He was talking about how when they made their trip to Saudi Arabia, and they get off the plane, and it's obvious that the Saudi people are very, very happy because he didn't see any demonstrations. No one was protesting, picketing, nothing. Everyone was just so well behaved. And he was saying this about Saudi Arabia and why, people shouldn't, they murder journalists and so forth, but don't, and all kinds of civil rights abuses, but no, don't pick on him too much, he said. I mean, I'm not going to play the clip right now, but he literally said this on television. He's like, we got off the plane, we got off of Air Force One and didn't see a single protester anywhere. And it's like, dude, that's a country where if you protest, they cut off your head. No, you're not going to see any protesters there. If there were any protesters there, they're dead. So ever since I saw that clip, I feel perfectly fine with making fun of Wilbur Ross. And what did I say? He's 128 years old or something? I don't know. Anyway, all right, back to this. So Chairman Elijah Cummings, Democrat of Maryland, and civil rights icon, unless, of course, you believe Trump, who says Elijah Cummings never did anything in his life. Elijah Cummings said this, quote, "Unfortunately, your actions are part of a pattern. The Trump administration has been engaged in one of the most unprecedented cover-ups since Watergate, extending from the White House to multiple federal agencies and departments of the government and across numerous investigations," unquote. Cummings said he would consider postponing the contempt votes if Barr and Ross turn over the requested documents by Thursday, June 6th. So, it's, there is a pattern. And we'll leave that at that. But, Ryan Gorman just messaged me on Facebook. So, Ryan's going to try to call into the show before the end of the show. Mr. Gorman has a bit of an announcement to make. And he and I talked earlier, and he told me that I could go ahead and announce it, but then, he wasn't able to get all the details to me in time. So he's going to try to call in before the end of the show. So it's pretty cool. It's I'll give you a little morsel of a hint. It has to do with Bernie Sanders. And that's all I'm saying for now. We'll hear from Ryan later. Let's see. And the other quick bit of breaking news. Don't want to get into this. Well, this is really quick. Democrats have opened an antitrust probe of the tech industry. House Democrats today launched a sweeping antitrust investigation of the nation's largest tech companies, including Google and Facebook, opening a new front against an industry that's increasingly under siege in Washington. Is it siege or siege? I tend to say siege, but for some reason just now I said siege. I went with a softer G, and I don't know why I did that, but I've heard it pronounced both ways. The action comes amid signs that the Trump administration is preparing to apply more scrutiny to the nation's tech giants, with the DOJ claiming jurisdiction over Google and Apple, and the Federal Trade Commission doing the same with Amazon and Facebook. You know, by the way, there's this... I'm not going to get into that any further, that story specifically, but something that has been popping up recently about Facebook is this idea on the left that Facebook should be broken up, should be forced to split up, sort of subdivide like an amoeba or something, and or should be. There's also this notion on the left that Facebook should be, because it's become such a part of our lives. It's Facebook and Google, and these things should be treated like tech company. I mean, not tech. They are tech companies. These things should be treated like public utilities, is what I mean to say, and should be taken over by the government, which I personally do not agree with. Call me a free market capitalist, but I do not think the government should be in the business of taking over these companies that they say, oh, you're too big. I mean, you know, not that the government never has a say in, you know, monopolies and things like that, but I'm not in favor of the government taking over Facebook. I think that would be very strange. Let's see. Let's do this. There's a story, and this won't take long, but it kind of goes back to, you know, I was mentioning immigration earlier. Reason.com is one of my favorite sites, and Reason is, you know, I always like to mention, I mean, they are, because I think it's worth keeping in mind when I go to these sources, what their point of view is ideologically, and, you know, as we, because it's good to, as you're consuming news and information, it's good to consider the source and what their ideology, what their agenda may be, and so forth, and you're, you know, and kind of, absorb that information through that filter. Just know that they have a particular point of view and that they're not objective. But I find a lot of really great stuff on Reason, and you know, I definitely have some libertarian attitudes. So Reason is a site that I like a lot, and this is from their immigration section, and this went up a couple days ago on June 1st. A short article written by Balin Linekin titled, "Sharing Food with Migrants is a Charitable Act to be Praised, Not Criminalized. Americans have long provided migrants with food and water. Why are we now treating that like a crime?" It says here, Scott Warren, a geographer from Arizona, is currently on trial in federal court. He's charged with human trafficking and other crimes. Scott Warren sounds like a bad hombre, but Scott Warren is actually a good hombre. Last year, Warren joined with other volunteers along the U.S.-Mexico border to provide food and water to migrants traversing the desert, where migrants can easily die of thirst, exposure, and other causes. Occasionally, as happened in April, migrants also die crossing the Canadian border. Warren and his fellow volunteers knew that providing food and water can help save lives, so that's what they did. In an account to the Washington Post this week, Warren details how Border Patrol agents set upon him and two migrants he was aiding. The agents arrested the migrants, then they arrested Warren. Warren says, quote, "Agents also handcuffed and arrested me for, in the agency's words, having provided the two migrants with food, water, clean clothes, and beds," unquote. Warren, who deserves thanks from every American, faces up to 20 years in federal prison for his acts of charity. By the way, I didn't pre-read this before the show. I chose it because as I was preparing for today's show. It just looked like something interesting that's kind of up my alley, something I like to talk about. But I must tell you, I find myself filling with rage as I read this. This is one of those things. We'll finish the rest of the story in a moment, but I mean, I kind of like to describe myself as a non-ideological, practical pragmatist. I agree with liberals on a lot of things. I agree with conservatives on some things, believe it or not. I know everyone thinks I'm a liberal, but just because I rip on Trump all the time. but I do agree with some conservative principles, but I have a lot of liberal positions, and I have a lot of libertarian in me as well. Particularly on the issues where libertarians and liberals agree, I tend to agree with them. Because I've always made the argument that libertarianism intersects with liberalism just as much as conservatism. It's just easier for libertarians to infiltrate the Republican Party than it is the Democratic Party. Far easier. But there are those moments where I just think, yeah, the libertarians are right. Government is really bad. Now, when I take the broader view of it all, I believe that government is not good nor bad. I think government is necessary, but kind of a necessary evil in that it can be used for bad, and government does a lot of things we need it to do, right? So, I never have a moment where I go, the anarchists are right, the libertarians who don't want less government or very small government or, what's the term? There's a term, the minarchist point of view that we should have a very, very small, unintrusive government. The anarchists think we should have no government, right? I never think that, but sometimes I have these moments where I think the libertarians are right. Government does far more harm than good. Again, when I take a broader view of it, I don't think that. I think government does a lot of things that are very, very necessary. But when I read something like this, I just think this is really disturbing. And I feel that way often, too, when we talk about the war on drugs. And if you're a regular listener, I oppose the war on drugs. And I like to refer to it as the war against the American people. Because I think the drug war is, we lock people up for, in some states, in most states still, we lock people up for possession and use of a plant. We take all their stuff through civil asset forfeiture. We ruin people's lives with the war on drugs, and there's a profit motive for it, right? So there's always a profit motive. So there are some ways in which government is incredibly abusive of its people. Now, again, taking the broad view, there's also some ways where government is incredibly helpful and necessary, but it sucks that we have to deal with the abuses. And we'll, as we go through the rest of the story, we'll learn about how they figured out how to threaten this guy with 20 years in prison for having empathy for other human beings and wanting to help them, but somehow they figured out how to screw him and threaten him with 2 decades in prison hanging over his head. So we'll learn that in a moment. But, it's so frustrating that part of the problem is this binary way of thinking about politics in this country that people have, where you're supposed to be either left or right, liberal or conservative. If you're a conservative, you're supposed to believe that government's bad. If you're a liberal, you're supposed to believe that government's good. And when people think in this binary way, it makes it really difficult for people who think that government's good to bother to stop and notice the bad things that government does. Right? So if you're a liberal thinker, you think government's good, but you probably also care very much about these migrants, because liberals tend to care about other human beings, regardless of whether they're American citizens or not. But then liberals also have this blind spot where it's like they believe in government, so it's hard for them to understand this is people who are working for the government harming someone who is trying to help these people, because you can't just care about the migrants. You also have to care about the people who are trying to help the migrants. It's very frustrating. Let's take this call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
It's your old pal, Fred.
Fred Boenig from the Daily Ripple. How are you, sir?
Good. I was going to just let you know, I was sitting behind the chair that was empty when Ross didn't show up for the Senate hearing. I was in that room. But one of the things that the reason that they want to put that on the bill or on the census has nothing to do with citizenship. It has to do with depressing the number of people in districts. And so because the census, the Constitution says count everybody. They counted Native Americans, they counted slaves. That's what the whole thing was. You didn't have to be a citizen. It wasn't about that. It was about the number of people in an area. That's why it was set up that way.
Right.
And so what they're trying to do is to lower that number in areas where there is probably a lot of people who might not be documented. And that means they get less congressmen.
Okay, because the people who are not documented aren't going to answer the census.
That's right. And
so
then if you say, right, and then the people who might have somebody in their home who's not documented and may not answer the census. And it's important because that's how you get funding. So what this is designed to
that makes
is
sense.
to cut funding to populated areas, because populated areas tend to vote Democrat, because people who live in areas where there's 200 or more people per square mile have a tendency to vote Democrat, and in places that are more rural, where less than 200 people per square mile, they tend to vote Republican. So that being said, the whole goal is not to really find out who's here. It's to stifle that, to skew the numbers so that they will help the Republicans.
So you artificially deflate those numbers in those areas,
because they're going to it's not going to do the job. And the census people have said that. All the studies, the private studies have said that. It's all about that. But this was created by another one of those crazy, guys like Stephen Miller. There's a guy out there, some college professor, that came up with this question, and you can look it up. He somehow got it to Ross, or that was part of that whole thing that they're investigating now, because what they want to do is suppress that number. And then, because like in California, there's a lot of people who won't be on that census. That means they don't get federal money because it's based on how many people.
No, that makes sense. That's sense.
What it's all about. And the fact that's why Ross won't talk about it. That's why he sends his help. The day that he was there, the Republicans, they sat for after they talked to the Democrats talked to the empty chair. The Republicans said, "Well, I don't know why we have these experts. They're the people who know." And the Democrats said, "Well, the guy in charge of the committee said, well, no, we don't want to talk to the people under him. We want to talk to the guy who's making the policy."
Right.
We don't care what the statistics that these guys can answer. The guy who has the final decision, that's the guy we want to talk to. He's a paid employee of the government. He needs to be here when we ask him, when he says he's going to be here.
By the way, has that question, I assume the answer is no, but you know more about this than I do, Fred. Has that question ever been on the census? I assume not.
Yes.
Oh, it has?
One other time.
Oh,
and they took it off in the early 50s, and that was because of the same reasons, but it was on there before. But they took it off, and because they found it to be not really constitutional or not really part of what they wanted to do. But it was early, like in the 50s, back when when they were nervous about immigration as well, as they are all the time. Funny how that is. It's always funny when I always love it when people say, "Well, we're too full." Like when Donald Trump says, "We're too full. We don't have any room for anybody." And I don't know. I do a lot of traveling, and I've traveled outside of the town of Allentown.
Yeah.
And when you get past Allentown, Pennsylvania,
yeah,
there's nothing between there and California. I mean, every once in a while you hit a city, but it's all open land.
Well, you know what?
It's
right. Well, you know what I love, Fred, too, is when Trump says that, and you see him saying that to these TV cameras while behind, like he's standing in front of this open field. Because I saw it, like he had visited the border, I think, and he was saying that to these reporters. We're full here, and right behind him, you just see all this open land, and it's just. But he doesn't have the self-awareness to realize. Where he's standing, it just looks ridiculous, especially to hear him say that.
Well, here's the problem, and people certainly my age, because I'm 60. I want to retire, and I imagine you want to retire someday. And the problem is, you can't retire unless somebody's working to put the money into the system.
Right.
And as we get into that bubble where all of a sudden there's all these people getting money from Social Security, you're going to need a lot of people paying into it.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way to get people to pay into it, since Americans don't make babies anymore.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Because, it's
birth rates are way
the same
down.
It's what happened in Germany. It's what happened in a lot of countries. When they became, so homogenous, they stopped reproducing at any given rate. And then they run out of people to pay into the system.
That is such a great point. I wish more people understood that, but they're so.
Well, it's
true.
It's not that I'm this huge lover of foreigners, not that I dislike any of them for any other reason,
right.
But I'm a big supporter in what Ronald Reagan said. He said, "Yeah, let them in, let them give them a work visa, and let them pay taxes."
Right.
That's how it works.
Exactly.
Let them pay taxes.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Well, people are very wrapped up in their xenophobia.
Right, but and they think they're going to lose something, but what they don't realize is by not letting them in, they're going to lose something, because the strain on the Social Security without an influx of workers, and you can't move the GDP without workers. We have 6 million jobs we can't fill right.
Yeah,
and if we start with any of this green technology, really start with it. It's going to be a real problem finding people to do all this work that they have when they start creating these green jobs. I mean, rebuilding the roadways, rebuilding the train systems, the mass transit systems, rebuilding, building better energy sources. All that stuff takes people.
Right.
And you need people. You need young people to do this work. Old people can't do the work.
Exactly. Paul, your friend is here, by the way, Paul Cormier.
Hi.
You remember Paul?
There he is. Yes, the genius. The guy who thinks I'm a genius.
Right.
He does. He thinks you're a
There's
genius.
plenty of young people on the streets here that can do that work.
Oh, no. Let's not get into that again.
I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
We've been down that road, but no, I'm with you, Fred, though. I agree with you. And I do.
So that being said, that's what the question is all about. It's a question that has nothing to do with caring about who's here. It's about trying to eliminate money to the areas that will likely have more undocumented people.
Yes. All right, Fred.
All right, I'll let you get back to your show, boss.
All right, thank you for the call, my friend. Always appreciate it.
Thanks, Paul.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Fred.
I think Fred likes you.
I think he likes me too. What's not to like?
Right. What is not to like?
Right.
What's on your mind today, Paul Cormier?
Well, I was thinking about those billboards that you posted on social media.
Billboards?
They fascinate me. The Jesus ones, especially the one that you put about how it's toll-free numbers, people, that you might have seen them too, that Matt is posting, not necessarily on Matt's page, but as you drive down the street or the highway or the throughway, where it says discover how God created you, and then there's a toll-free number.
No, it says discover how Jesus created you.
And that's what I was just about to point out. Matt posted one that said discover how Jesus created you. And that one really, really threw me off, because Jesus did not create you. God created you. And that, I mean, it's one thing to be a schlub and put these signs up and pay, lots of money to put these signs up in the first place. But you're right. When Matt put this sign up, I was like, Jesus didn't create anybody. His dad did.
Let's just be clear. I didn't put the sign up. Someone else put the sign up.
Well,
I took a picture of it in order to
Right.
mock it.
Right. And
Yes.
Matt posted a photo
Yes.
of the billboard that he drove by. Yes.
Although I am, as you know, Paul Cormier, I'm a deeply religious man of great faith.
Well, of course. And I could see why a sign like that would catch your attention where you'd post it.
Just earlier in the show, I was learning about this One World Church. Have you heard about this?
No.
I'm going to go back to church. It's very exciting.
Is that who posts these signs?
They have no. This is like some other church. They have like an Antichrist, and they have like this woman who rides a horse, and she's evil. It sounds very exciting.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm going to check that out.
But yeah, I mean, I guess Jesus. I mean, did he take care of like business for Dad after he retired? Did he start creating people after God retired at 65?
I see what you did there. You took my joke.
Oh, did you already say that?
I said that in the Facebook thread.
That's
That's all right.
I didn't.
I said, yeah, maybe Jesus took over the family business after Dad retired.
Oh, at 65 million?
Yes. Well, he's getting up there.
And how about the other one? What was the other one you put? Are you going to burn in hell or go to heaven?
Yeah, there's a number you can call.
A toll-free number you can call to find out.
Yes. Well, I did say, and I said in the post, I mean, I'm actually very afraid to call that number because I'm pro-choice, I support gay marriage, I didn't vote for Trump. I'm probably on my way to hell.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to burn in hell.
You should call that
eternity.
number live on the air.
I thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I got to look into that. I don't want to get in trouble. Because,
why?
Well, for one, so there's I gotta get clarification on what the FCC says about that. Because you used to be able to get away with, like, you could just call someone without asking them for permission first if you can put them on the air.
Oh, right.
The FCC, clamped down on that a few years ago, what you can and can't do. And I just want to check into that before I make that call, because I do want to call them live on the air. But like I said, I'm very much afraid to, Paul. I mean, if I'm going to hell, it's, boy, that's frightening.
Hell.
Do
you believe in hell?
Well, Paul, as a God-fearing man of great faith, I really don't.
No.
I don't really believe
hell.
I don't really. Hell seems kind of. But anyway, yes. Now, did you hear? I don't know if you heard any of the show earlier, Paul Cormier. But
I was working.
But I came up with I'm going to be submitting a jingle. To Goldenrod.
Speaking of hell.
I came up with, Goldenrod. No, you're thinking of Creamland.
No,
Goldenrod is glorious.
Just working.
What's that?
I was working.
Oh, you were working. Oh, that's what you mean by hell. Yes. So I'm going to be submitting a jingle to Goldenrod.
Oh, nice.
Would you like to hear it?
I'd like to be in on it.
I sang it earlier.
I love Goldenrod.
Well, maybe you can write a verse. All right. So this is what I've got so far. I sang it to Easy G earlier when he called. He said it was lame, but I think he's just jealous because he didn't think of it first, right?
I'd love to hear it.
All right, so let me make sure I remember correctly. So it goes, Goldenrod, I really like your food and your ice cream. So much better than Creamland. Woohoo!
It's fucking awesome.
You like it?
I think that's great.
All right, so I'm gonna submit that to them. Easy G didn't like it.
I think it's the greatest thing.
And then, so I sang that on the air earlier, and then I got an email. An email popped up on my phone. And it was I guess this Easy G's boss, Nicole from Creamland. She emailed me and she said, Matt, I was just listening to the show, and I love the show, by the way, and I think you're a genius. And I was wondering if you could also write a jingle for us at Creamland, because the one you wrote for Goldenrod is so good, and we need one too. And but I don't think I can do that.
You see,
Paul
I've only
Cormier.
heard it once, okay? And it stuck with me.
Yeah.
See, Goldenrod, I really love your food and your ice cream. Woo-hoo-hoo. Right?
You left out a line though.
Oh, what line?
So much better than Creamland.
Oh yeah, right.
And you got to go falsetto.
Well, I only heard one. I only heard it once.
Right,
so, yeah.
right, yeah. I mean that part's really important because we don't want people hearing the jingle and just thinking, oh yeah, Goldenrod, that's great. We want them to know that they're
You ever
they're
consider
the best.
doing a broadcast there?
Oh, that's a great idea, Paul Cormier. That would be wonderful. Well, Easy G, I believe, is working on that for us.
I'd go.
I think Easy G wants to have like a massive live remote at Goldenrod. Only problem is he won't be able to be there because he'll be busy working at Creamland.
Easy G is setting up a live broadcast.
I think
at
he's
Goldenrod.
I think he's working on it for us. Yes.
Why would he do that?
Because he just look, Paul Cormier. Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
In his heart, Easy G knows. He knows what the superior food establishment is.
Right.
He knows who has the better ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
So,
do you think these places get like their ice cream shipped? They're not making their own ice cream, are they?
I think Goldenrod makes their own ice cream.
You think they do?
I think they have their own cows, and they milk the cows, and they I have no idea how that works. But,
no, you're just being silly.
Well, maybe I am. Sometimes I'm silly.
I think both these places are getting those big round cylinders of ice cream from the same place.
I don't know. I hate to think Goldenrod would skimp like that.
You think Puritan makes their own ice cream?
Puritan? I don't know. I would hope so.
I'm just wondering.
A name like Puritan.
Right.
Yeah. Why are you holding your face like that?
I'm tired.
Oh, why are you so tired?
I'm exhausted.
You know what you need is you need
ice cream.
You need some you need carbs and protein from Goldenrod.
I need some meat, Matt.
You need meat. Oh, we have a call.
We have a caller.
There's probably someone wanting me to write them a jingle. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's
this?
this?
Hello, guys.
Well, hello, guys. Hey, I can only speak for Creamland, but Nicole makes her own ice cream. There's soft and hard ice cream. So I can't speak for the other place, but
yes.
Creamland makes their own.
Creamland makes their own ice cream right on the premises?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
They milk their own
awesome.
cows.
All right.
Now, will you, Easy G, when do you work next at Creamland?
Well, potentially I'm working next Monday, but it's not 100%. But I know I'm off this week.
All right. Well, ask when you go in, ask Nicole if she definitely wants me to write that jingle for her, and maybe I'll give it a shot. It won't be as good as the Goldenrod one because that is sheer genius.
I heard it again, and I have to admit to you, even though we're cool and stuff, the jingle stinks.
Oh, Easy G, you are in denial, my friend.
I'm sorry to tell you
Paul
the truth.
Cormier,
Like a friend of mine said years ago, she's no longer with us. You may not like it, but it's the truth.
What'd she die of? Poor judgment when it comes to judging jingles?
She's been gone for a while. But and believe it or not, this lady here, my mother used to work with, she was a big fan of Creamland.
Right.
All the time.
Well, boy, I'll tell you what. Maybe you just need to hear it again, Easy G. Let's see. All right, ready? Goldenrod. See, now I can't remember the lyrics.
Go.
Oh, see. All
I'm all done.
All right, bye-bye. See, his negativity threw me off. I forgot the lyrics, Paul Cormier.
I love the food.
Why is Ryan Gorman calling my cell phone?
I don't know.
Dude, I'm on the air. Call the station.
Maybe he tried calling the station.
And he just tried calling me on Facebook. What's he doing?
Get him on the air. Pick up. See what he needs so badly.
Well, he told me he was going to try to call the show today, but he knows how to call the show.
Well, the line was just busy.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah, you're right. Good call. Pun fully intended. Hey, Ryan.
Well, hello, guys.
Well, hello. Oh, did you hang up?
Well, who's that?
I don't think that wasn't Gorman. That was somebody else.
That was just calling us somebody to say, well, hello, guys?
That was an Easy G impersonator.
Was that Scumpy?
It kind of sounded like him, actually.
A little bit.
No, but Scumpy would have rambled and...
Really?
Well, he tends to.
I wonder who that was.
I'm writing back to Ryan on Facebook with the reminding him of the station's number. 603-250-6007. Albert So in the Facebook live chat is asking, any thoughts on climate change?
No, thank you.
All I know is the only thing that's going to save us from climate change is Goldenrod. All right, here we go. This is probably Ryan.
That's correct.
Goldenrod, they're going to save us from climate change.
And other things, too.
Hi, is your mom home?
My mom?
Yeah, hello.
No, she's retired. Yeah, she's probably home. She's probably chilling.
She's at Goldenrod.
Did you just call your mother? That's not an appropriate term anymore. I believe it's mentally diminished. You can't use that word, Matt. Oh, you said retired.
I said retired, yes. Paul Cormier is here, too.
Hi.
Oh, my God. Paulie, how are you?
How are you, you beautiful man?
You beautiful man. How's that? Dude, did I tell you this already on the air? That one day I thought Nick Willard was you?
Yeah,
and
you did tell me that.
Into the chat room. I did. All right, I'm a repeater. I repeat stuff quite a bit. Boys, how are you?
That's quite the mistake right there.
So I just got
I feel so bad for Nick.
Right.
I just got a text message from Ryan saying the studio phone was off. It wasn't off, Ryan. Yeah. It's just it was occupied. We were talking with Easy G.
Oh my God, you guys! There's no bat phone in there for me yet.
No, there probably should be. Easy G calls quite a bit. He loves my new jingle that I wrote for Goldenrod.
I just love the name Goldenrod.
Yeah, it is great. I love that we have Goldenrod and a Creamland and all in the same city.
I never put the two and two together. Holy smoke!
Right.
Wow.
Yes.
I see some novelty T-shirts in my future for both those places.
I think there's cross promotional opportunities.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, Ryan,
what are you two crazy? Yeah, go ahead.
Well,
you're going to make it about me? Perfect.
I don't want to run out of time before you have a chance to make your announcement.
Yeah, I first of all, let me just say, Manchester Inklink and Carol Robideau, wow, because if you guys actually saw the whole interview, you're getting what you get now, which is, just me being, and Carol managed to make me look like a reasonable human being. It was awesome.
Oh, okay.
I was very excited about Carol did that. She was as delightful as I would have imagined when I met her. I heard her speak a little bit this morning with Pete, but I'm super stoked, and I can't believe I kept my mouth shut for as long as I did.
Wow.
As long as I've ever gone without spilling the beans. Very excited to do this Bernie Sanders mural project, as Carol has named it, and I'm sticking with it. I like that.
Very good. So tell us about the project.
Yeah, so basically I have a very good friend, because this part didn't make the cutting room floor, if you will. My friend Nikki Casey, who is we have a mutual friend, Bill, and when Bernie's camp asked for an artist to paint a mural, she was awesome enough to reach out to me right away. And obviously, my schedule wasn't super booked, and of course I'm a huge Bernie guy, and I love everything that man stands for, including taking your tax dollars and giving it to social programs. Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm into it. So I get to paint a mural in his headquarters, and his I don't know the name, the positions these people have, but they all seem way more important than me. And this wonderful young lady said, you know what? After I showed them the Old Man of the Mountain image, she said, would you be interested in doing the rest of the campaign offices across the state? And
wow.
Said, yeah, let me check my book. Yes. And here we are. I'm super stoked. It's as I told Carol yesterday, I was like, I'm probably getting ahead of myself, but it really feels like my Shepard Fairey moment. And for those of you that don't know, that's the guy that made that Obama Hope poster.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
So
wow.
It's I don't know. It's really it's super exciting for me. I feel like I've accomplished something finally. I'll be 41 in like a couple of days. So 41 years. It's not that long to finally get something cracking.
Wow, very nice. Hey, do you know Rocky Huber?
I actually, you know what? I'll be honest. I don't know anybody named Rocky.
Okay, no, he's in the Facebook live chat. He's actually throwing some shade at you. I didn't know if it was just someone you know breaking your balls.
Well, I love shade. What kind of shade is he throwing?
He said,
Rocky?
"Wake me up when he's done, please."
Dude, your name's Rocky, bro. Stop it.
Burn.
Jeez, you're like really? I'm gonna reach for low-hanging fruit right now.
Oh my goodness! All right. No, that's very cool, Ryan. Good for you. Good for you.
Thank you very much, Matt. Hey, Rocky, way to bring the show to a screeching halt with your comments in the chat room.
I bet Rocky likes my new jingle. Have you heard my goldenrod jingle?
I haven't, but I'm sure Rocky likes goldenrod.
Ooh.
Oh.
Are you awake now, Rocky? Are you awake now?
All right. Well, that's all very exciting, Ryan. Good for you. When are you gonna? You haven't been on the show in a long time. When are you gonna come in?
Well, if I can ever get out of digging holes before 4 o'clock, I would love to.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm day jobbing again. Landscape season.
I understand. All right, my friend. Well, we're almost out of time, so we'll let you go for now. But again, congratulations.
Yeah, I'm stoked. Thank you very much, Matt. Paul, always a pleasure.
All right, my brother.
To hear from you this decade. Always a pleasure.
All right, Ryan. Take care.
Guys, take it easy.
All right,
Rocky, I'll call you later, bud.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
All right, the great Ryan Gorman. That is very nice. Very nice.
Ryan and Rocky. I smell a sitcom.
Yes. Maybe a reality show. They could be roommates. That would be very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So all right. Let's grab this one last call, and then but we got to be quick. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
This is Nikolai Kremlin. I own the ice cream on Valley Street. You keep saying my name wrong. Make me sound like Sex City.
Oh, how do you say it? What's the correct way?
It's Kremlin. I am Russian.
Kremlin. Oh, Kremlin, not Creamland. Okay. Oh.
Stop saying that.
Well,
I'm angry.
Well, that's Easy G's fault. Easy G comes on the air all the time and says it wrong. Although one day Easy G said Creamland.
Creamland.
Making it sound like a country. It's like next to Greenland, you have Creamland. But
you see, this guy who just called, he wants us to say his ice cream establishment correctly, but he spells it wrong.
Yeah, that's true. Well, he's Russian.
If he wants us to say Kremlin, he's got to spell Kremlin.
Right. The Russian alphabet doesn't. Oh boy, I wonder if Trump has anything to do with
Kremlin.
Ooh, my goodness, probably. Well. All right.
Now I really want to eat at Goldenrod.
Goldenrod, I really like the food and the ice cream. It's so much better than Creamland. Woo-hoo. There you go. Nice. That's some good harmony. You got to go with me to Goldenrod when I go to pitch that. It'll be great. How could they say no?
You ready? Let's do the jingle again.
All right, ready? All right. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Goldenrod, so much better. Oh, damn
I really love their food and their ice cream.
You had it right, and I screwed it up. Right. Okay, let's do it one more time. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Goldenrod, I really like their food and your ice cream. So much better than Creamland. Woo-hoo. I like that. You went low, I went high. That's good. Easy G is going to hate us. All right, we're out of time. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk at y'all a little bit later.
IPMNation.com.